Welcome, gods and goddesses, creators, to All Things Spirituality with yours truly, Maria Palomino, a sacred sanctuary that speaks the unspeakable and lets you in on the secrets of spiritual awakening. Introducing self-discovery, soul awakening tools that helps you remember your soul's true purpose to start manifesting a conscious reality. Every soul is unique, meaning no spiritual path is the same. Feel every conversation and let your mind, body, and soul guide you to what is unique to only you. It is the soul's resonance of remembrance. Now, take a deep breath, drop into your heart, and let us begin, beautiful souls creators. Welcome, gods and goddesses, to another episode of All Things Spirituality with your host, Maria Palomino. Today, we have a true angel as a guest. We have Isabelle, who, after a near-death experience at the age of 8, started having prophetic dreams and visions. But it was only after a life-threatening leukemia event when she was 10 years old that she started engaging intensively with the angels. With the shortest period of time, she started receiving advice from the angels who helped and guided her to become the completely healthy person that she is now. Since then, she studied all types of energy healing, angels, and coachings to be able to support her path. And as the years have progressed out of Munich, Germany, she has also written 2 books that have published for more than 20 channel meditations. And she's also developed her own angel life coach training. Isabelle is also, she's also a mystic, a best-selling author, founder of the Angel Life Coach Training, and she's also developed her own Isis Angel Healing, Magdalene Healing, and Sacred Woman sessions. It's so impressive, everything that Isabelle Von Fallois has overcome in her awakening, and she shares it with us. Thank you so much, Isabelle, for being with us today. How are you?
Thank you, and merci for inviting me, dear Maria. It's a great pleasure to be with you today, and I'm absolutely great.
Perfect. What we like to do to start the podcast, I really feel like it's more of a circle gathering when they do the podcast. I like to tune in, and if the guest would like to do a quick tune in, that way we drop into our hearts, quiet our minds, and make sure that everything that we're sharing and that we're offering to our listeners is really coming from our highest self and from the purest source there is. So if you'd like to guide us to a quick meditation, we would love it.
Yes, of course. With open eyes, look up to your third eye and breathe in deeply. And while exhaling, close your eyes in slow motion. And give your brain the command to go automatically into a deep, relaxed, and very mindful state. And just be present in the here and now to be able to receive the gifts, the presents awaiting you. And Archangel Michael is here with his mighty power, and he is enfolding all of us in his ultraviolet pyramid, the pyramid which transforms any lower energies, so that only high frequencies and high energies can come through. And this ultraviolet energy is also transforming everything which is now allowed to be transformed in accordance with the plan of your soul right now. Breathe in that ultraviolet light, which even can change the DNA and do it in a new way, activate it in a new way. And now another angel appears in this pyramid. And this is Archangel Haniel, the feminine counterpart of the archangels of Archangel Michael. So you are surrounded by the feminine moon angel and by the masculine solar angel. And so Haniel is enfolding you with her silver lunar light to protect your soul's essence, the most sensitive part of you. And Archangel Michael is enfolding you in his golden light so that you are protected on all levels and are connected with the sun energy. And at the same time, no matter whether you're a woman, a man, or another gender, the feminine and masculine energies with you get balanced and the hemispheres of your brain get synchronized. So breathe in deeply the silver and golden light. And now you're ready to receive whatever your soul knows to be received today. Satnam.
Wow. That was so special. Thank you so much. My Kundalini was definitely circling. And I love how you brought in the balance and how important it is. And when I open up this podcast, I always say, welcome, God and goddesses. And I'm not referring to the male aspect or the female aspect. I'm talking to the God and goddess aspect within ourselves because we have both. It's the yin yang, it's that bringing in the duality together and understanding and bringing in balance. So it's so important that you're doing that. And I want to go into this a little more and not just like teaching about the lights because there's more to that.
Yeah. And I could feel it when you said God and goddesses. I knew you meant it within us. And that was the reason why I did what I did right now.
Oh, perfect.
And you know, the point is, when we want to bring this earth back into peace, we truly need to merge and balance the moon and the sun, the feminine and masculine within us, because only when there is no war inside of us between the feminine and masculine energies anymore, we can create peace on earth again.
Beautiful. Yes, it's all about finding that alignment. And that's what we came here to remember, that we're everything. And but that's the beauty of being a human. Without the polarity, we wouldn't exist and we wouldn't be in this dense form.
Exactly.
Yeah. Isabelle, tell us about the angels. My first oracle cards were the angels, and it was comforting for me. And as I was doing my healing sessions for people, I always like putting out my angel cards, and people were open to it because who doesn't like angels? I feel like any background, they're open to it. If I pull out my Lemurian card, they have no majority of people don't know what that is.
Exactly.
But angels are open. I mean, I see Mary Magdalene, and there are some people right now, they're still in the polarity and they're like, oh, I don't want anything to do with church and religion. But angels, they open up so easily. So tell us what the angels, its colors, the difference between angels and archangels, and I'll let you lead from there.
Yeah, you know, the point was already when I was a small child, I just could see these beings and also the fairies. But somehow, like many people in the teenage and a little bit later years of my life, I was so sensitive and it was really not easy for me. So I really closed myself a little bit to not see too much, because after the near-death experience with nearly 8. I was just 7, but nearly 8.
Wow.
I could see when someone would die. I could see when an accident would happen. And in that age, I mean, this is just so tough. And you have to
Yes.
know I'm more than 50 years on this planet. So when I was 7, 8, it's quite a long time ago. And it was not the
Yeah.
world we are in right now, you know? And so it kind of needed the leukemia. The leukemia was later. I think you said it in a different way, but the leukemia was
Oh,
much later. It was
okay.
much later, and I was in a very, very interesting relationship, but I needed this relationship. I knew from a soul point, it was a karmic story, because only that relationship could bring me into leukemia.
Mm,
And the point was, leukemia was so important because without leukemia, you know, I still would be a pianist and I would travel the world making music, which still is an incredible thing because music is so healing.
it is.
But there was another plan for my life. You know, I decided before I incarnated. And
Yeah.
so when I was diagnosed with leukemia, they only gave me 3 days to 3 weeks to live because I was just in the last stage.
Wow.
And in the same 7 days, when I got the diagnosis, I lost my partner, I lost my house, I lost my scholarship in California. Everything was gone within 7 days, and I had nearly nothing left. So you can imagine it was like really a big, big crash. And of
Yes.
course, a unique wake-up call.
Yes.
And this was the moment, you know, where I knew I had to go into that. I mean, I was always spiritual. I was always praying. I was doing these things, but I had to connect in a different way again because I knew if I want to survive, I need to really call in the help from above because I
Mm.
mean, everything gone. So, you know, the doctors tell me latest in 3 weeks, you're dead.
Wow.
So
So I love how you can laugh about it now, but I'm
yeah, you
sure
know, you
during that
see,
time it was
no,
different.
it was not to love it, but still, you have to know. I was always trying to be on the positive side of life. And I still was a positive human being, so that the doctors, the nurses, everyone came into my room to get energy because I was still laughing, you know. They said they in
Oh,
30, some said in 30 years, they have never seen a patient like me. And
wow.
they really came to me to get energy. It was really
Mm.
funny, you know. No one was allowed to touch
Incredible.
me. Everybody had gloves on and masks
Oh
on. I saw
no.
only the eyes because if someone had touched me, I would have died. So it was really strange, but
Mm.
they came to get energy.
Wow, you're just radiating and beaming from the inside. And that's what matters. That's what makes the difference.
Exactly. And at that moment, you know, there was a moment in hospital before everything started when I was really like panicking, and I didn't want my parents to leave the room. I didn't want my friend to leave the room. I didn't want the doctors, nurses leave my room because I was really very afraid of the very first night there. You can imagine in a single
Yeah.
sterile room,
Yeah.
because then death is like that in front of you.
Yes.
But you know what happened, Maria? It was incredible. In the moment the last person left the room, I started praying.
Mm.
And I felt the most incredible presence in the room. I felt enfolded by angel wings, and I just knew I'm comforted and I can't fall deeper. I'm never alone. It was so incredible. At that moment, I didn't know who that was. But today I know it was Archangel Jophiel, the angel of
Oh,
beauty, the angel who helps us to beautify our thoughts. And she was with me the entire 9 months in hospital, helping me.
wow. 9 months.
Yeah, 9 months.
Long
And I should have
time.
stayed longer. But I had a vision after the ninth chemotherapy. I had a vision, if you take one more, you will die. And I had lung inflammation, pulmonary, I think in English you say.
Pulmonary. Yes.
exactly. And I came in the ECU, how you say?
I see you. I see you.
ICU. Okay, in the
I
ICU,
see
there
you.
was I see you,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I had the vision, in the ICU, I had the vision that if I do one chemotherapy more, I'm gonna die. So what
Yeah.
did I do? I trusted in my visions because since I was a small child, since the near-death experience, my very first one of many, I was able to see the future. So I knew I had to leave. So can you imagine 30 doctors, one after the other, came to try to keep me in hospital. They tried to persuade me,
Mm.
30 in a situation like that. But I
Wow.
signed, if I'm dying, it's my own responsibility. And I
Okay.
left hospital.
God.
And I never did a chemo again.
And so you had the strength, your parents had to help you out, or I mean,
Yeah,
because you were in
I
the
was
ICU and you had the
I was
support
very
of your
strong.
parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very strong in
Yeah.
my mind,
Yeah.
otherwise I wouldn't be here anymore. So this was, as a pianist, I
Incredible.
had a very trained mind,
Yeah.
this was my, let's say, my greatest support. So I could come through that. But without the angels at my side, and especially Jophiel, who always like really helped me to not see the half empty, but the half full glass. And today I say, I don't see the half full glass. I always see the full glass
Full
because it's
glass.
always air in
Oh,
it. I mean,
yes.
it's always filled with air. It's always full. And if you can
Yes.
see that, you see always the gifts,
Yes.
the gifts of life, even
Oh,
in the
I
hardest
love it.
lessons.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
interesting how it was 9 months because then that's when a cycle ends as well. And your
exactly.
rebirth and you begin again. And so you see the
Exactly.
future in timelines, which is great. And that's what sometimes people say, oh, my future's like only one destination. Is like, no, you can see the different timelines and then you decide. And that's the
Exactly.
beauty of being able to see the future. And then that's when your
Exactly.
will came in.
And without Archangel Michael backing me up, I wouldn't have been able to sign this, to say, if I die, it's my own responsibility. And 30 doctors in white being there telling you can't leave, but you still do it. I mean, this is courage, pure courage, right?
It is. Oh,
And
that's
I'm
so
still here, and
you
most
are
of the
so alive. You can
and
bright a room. You're like a cheerleader.
and really, I mean, this is very sad. A lot of people who have been with me with leukemia in hospital, they're not here anymore,
No, yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful that I took my visions more serious than the words of doctors. I'm very, very grateful,
You
because
learn how to
otherwise
trust
I would,
yourself.
yeah. I had
Mhm.
seen a dear friend of mine who had leukemia many years before me, and she was without leukemia, and we celebrated a beautiful ceremony that she made it. And only 1 month later, she got a flu in the middle of the summer and she died because the immune system was
Immune
so,
system.
yeah,
Our immune system is so important. So important.
especially
And
now in these times.
yeah, and it's not just about the food, it's because it's part of our nervous system. How do we
Exactly.
strengthen it? It's so many things. It's physical activity, it's yoga, breath. There's so many things. Like everything we do affects our immune system. Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more. What's the difference between angels and archangels? And then are there different scales, I guess, statuses and
Yes,
Metatron?
yes.
I've heard different things about Metatron.
Yeah, so there are a lot of different kinds of angels, and there are actually millions of angels out there which are looking to help us. But what is very important to know, they are only allowed to help us if we truly ask, or
Yeah.
if we are in a life-threatening situation, but our time of life is not yet finished. Then they can interrupt, like in
Intervene.
an accident, if someone is not meant to die, but only then. Otherwise, we have to ask,
Oh, that makes
because
sense.
in opposition to human beings, the angels definitely accept our free will, 100,000%. So we have to ask. And there's really, I mean, countless angels, infinite numbers of angels out there. And I only speak about the angels I really know, like friends, like, because I really have seen
They're
them.
your friends. Yeah, you talk to them all the
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. And so, some people think they have archangels as guardian angels. That's kind of, I would say differently. They can be your guides, but the guardian angels are angels which are with you from the beginning of your soul. You take them with you through incarnations. It's not someone every time you incarnate, you get a new guardian angel or new guardian angels. You have the same. This
We
is
have
my opinion.
only one guardian angel according to
I
you.
always see two. I
You always
always
say
see
two
two.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know why? For me, it makes totally sense. I always see one more feminine angel, guardian angel, and one more masculine guardian angel. And the more masculine guardian angel helps us to stay on track of our life's path, which we decided before we incarnated. And
Yeah.
the other one, the more feminine, is there to comfort us in different situation, is the one to carry us, to caress us. It's just a very different kind of guardian angel. So for me, it's always two. And I always feel and see in the aura of people two guardian angels.
That makes a lot of sense, though. Makes a lot of
And
sense.
so these are just for you, yours for you, and mine for myself and for everyone. So these are very unique angels. But the archangels are there for all of us. And the incredible thing is that for us, it's difficult to imagine, but they can be with all human beings of this world at the same time.
Yes.
This is just incredible.
That's unbelievable. So
I mean,
beautiful.
Archangel Michael can be with millions, billions, trillions of people. I mean, this is just so incredible, the power of these beings,
Yeah.
right?
Can you explain to them why is that? As far as because angels are the different frequencies, and has it differ how you used to see them before and how you see them now as you have progress and how they're visualized, because they have to come in kind of like humanly for us the beginning, and then for some
Yeah,
people I hear it changes more into the sacred geometry and the light that they are, the different
it is
frequencies.
very different, There are moments when they really, really want to have my biggest attention. Then I see them with my open eyes, like I can see you, like really, literally.
Wow.
Yeah, this was also the very, very first encounter which changed my entire life when I was still fighting to survive. After 4 years fighting with life and death, I was just not willing to see any healer, any doctor, anyone anymore. And it was my birthday, and I decided to stop all of that. And I had for 4 years, I had fever, and no one could get that fever out of my body. And so I
Yeah.
said, okay, there's just God and the angels. So I just stop all of that. And the only thing I do from now is praying and meditating.
Yeah.
And I couldn't walk. There was no possibility. After 4 years fever, you can't walk anymore. So I was just in my bed and praying and meditating. And all of a sudden, Maria, I had my eyes closed, as obviously I do it during a meditation. And I felt a huge change of the air pressure in the room. So I opened my eyes, and there was the most huge angel there, visible for my normal human eyes, up to the ceiling with incredible wings surrounded by emerald green light, and was saying to me, finally you can see me, finally you can hear me. I am Archangel Raphael. Now you can become healed. And you can imagine, Maria, I had goosebumps all over my body
Wow.
and tears running down my cheeks. And this was one of the most touching moments of my life. I will never, ever forget this moment, which changed everything,
And Raphael is
everything.
known as being the healer as well, right?
Exactly.
And green.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Emerald green light, emerald green light.
It's the heart chakra too. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and from that day on, Maria, he didn't leave my side. And he even told me websites I had to go to. And I found someone in California who did the most incredible supplements. And within 1 month, I had no fever anymore.
Wow. Who is this
And
person?
all these kind of things. It's a doctor who in California who is called Dr. Todd Ovokaitis, and his website is www.gematria.com. He does the most incredible supplements.
Supplements,
So
that's incredible. Yeah.
yeah, because
We
these
need our
supplements,
nutrients, huh? Yeah.
and this guy, Maria, this guy can sing like a whale. You have no idea. And he infuses the supplements with the most highly frequent laser beams, so they go in your body wherever you need them. So it's just, this was just magic that Raphael put me on that website, then told me what I had to order, and 1 month later I was free of fever after having it for 4 years, so every day I became better and better. And half a year later, I opened my studio and started giving sessions to people.
That's unbelievable. It's so important. And I'm glad you're mentioning this, because sometimes when people really go on the spiritual path, they think, I just want to be completely holistic. I don't want to see a doctor. I almost kind of want to stay away from science. It's remembering that absolutely everything spirit and biology and science is spirit as well. It's just using your intuition. And when you're vibrating so high like you are, you get guided to the right path as well, because these are human angels that have chosen their profession as doctors or scientists that are helping us evolve as well. Everyone's playing their part and their role. It's so
and
important.
he's definitely a very special soul. And I got to know him later, and I was also playing the piano on his events. So it's really very beautiful, the whole thing. But just to tell, not a human being told me how to find him. It was Archangel Raphael. So if you are truly listening, you get all the messages you need. But the most people are so busy on searching that they don't become silent enough to receive the messages.
Yes, I see this very much. It's like stop doing and stop feeling. And because you can absorb so much knowledge, and it helps up to, it's good to have knowledge, and then you start having the experience and you absorb knowledge and things start making sense. But you have to take the time to just sit down, meditate, feel, really just connect out with nature. And this is why I love being in Bali.
I can imagine.
I've never spent so much time outside in my life, I don't think. And like even right now, I'm outside.
Yeah, how beautiful. I love it.
And just without thinking about it, with no effort, your vibration goes up from just being out in nature. And when it's effortless, that's when you don't think about it. There's no resistance, and messages come through, and the nature starts speaking to you. The butterfly starts speaking to you, the snail, all the lizards that go in my room. They all have a message. So I'm like, okay, they just become part of what I do.
It's so true. It's so true. But what humans really, I think, need to learn more is to listen.
Yes, that's true. Feel and then listen.
Yeah.
So
And
true.
whenever I see people who tell me, oh, I don't receive the messages of the angels or the light beings. When I look into their aura, I see so many messages, like if you have an answering machine and this is more than full,
Yeah.
it's there, it's everything there. But the people are all searching in the outside instead of just being present. Everything is within you. Everything is in your aura. You just have to tune in, because you're angelic too, not just the angels.
Yeah.
This is so important.
There's a saying that says, I think I heard it in Spanish, but something along the lines that even angels are are jealous of us because we have the privilege of being human and have feelings, right? And live this
Exactly.
experience.
Yeah. And we have to learn to understand that this is an incredible chance,
Mm-hmm.
being here and being in that presence of the angels, but having the polarity, having the duality to truly learn to choose and remember again.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. So much wisdom that you're sharing with us today.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about Metatron. I'm very curious to hear about him and what's his role. I've heard, and some people say like he is like the top archangel. And is that true, or for you, the
For
way that
me,
you've
not.
experienced it? Yeah.
For me, not. But he's a very, very high archangel. So don't get me wrong. For me, really, it's Archangel Michael, which is just the top of the top of the top. Not to say that the others are less,
Yeah.
but it has a reason why the name of Michael translates who is like God.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But there is a sacred triangle with Michael, Metatron, and the priest Melchizedek.
Yeah.
And the three M's together are very, very connected, especially in these times, to change the hierarchy and the presence on the planet Earth, to really bring into a new paradigm, because we really have to change paradigms to get a new Earth here. I mean, everyone can feel it. And
Yeah.
so the order of Melchizedek was very, very powerful in ancient times. And also Jesus was very connected to it. And so Metatron, again, is very, very connected to all the sacred geometry. And
Yeah.
Archangel Michael is the one who oversees all the angels. And if you bring in this priest energy with the sacred geometry and this highest of archangels together, can you imagine what a power they are? What a
What a
trinity there
powerhouse.
are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very powerful to imagine like this triangle around you, like Michael above you, and on one side Metatron, on the other side Melchizedek, and you are in this triangle, and you go into the energy of really creating a new world.
Oh, I love it. And it's so important what you said, because it's almost like what's the most important ones, whoever you connect with the most, whoever you resonate with the most. And since everything is energy, what I love about the universe, and the more I learn about it, it's like it's so beautiful. Everything has an order. And in a sense, there is a hierarchy, but not necessarily a hierarchy of importance, but different roles. And some people have to oversee like different energies over others, but that doesn't make it more important than the other.
No.
Right.
And of course, there are more the thrones, the virtues, the seraphim, the cherubim, etc. This is all different kind of levels, but not in the human sense, because we
Yeah.
always want to make higher, better, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You're
But it's
right.
different. It's just so much more complex, so that I don't like, honestly, to talk about this higher, better, and so on, because it's all interwoven for me.
Yeah.
If I see that, and of course, what I know, what I see, what I experience, the seraphim come in not so often, because they are just in a higher, let's say, higher dimension, in a higher plane, and I see them only very connected with the grandmother Anna, the grandmother of Jesus.
Yeah.
And with her always are the seraphim. I always see her when she does her incredible light healings.
Wow.
The seraphim are always with her, always.
I love, and I'm so glad you brought her up. And for people that don't understand, I know we're saying that there is no hierarchy, like no one's more important than another, but there is an order. Just our body's a universe. We have our skin, and inside we have our organs, and we have so many different systems, our nervous system, our skeletal system, our meridian lines. Everything has an order, But if one organ fails, then everything else fails, right? Without the heart, we can't really live. Like every single part of ourselves is playing such an important role. Every single bacteria that lives within us. So it's the same way. Like but there is an order, and
Yeah,
it makes you think like how important it is for us to become organized, because
exactly.
and then there's an order and disorder. We can't see it right now. Like everything's happening
Yeah.
perfectly. I mean, if the earth was to move 1 inch closer to the sun, we would burn. Like everything is so exact, and the mathematics are so precise, and they
Yeah.
move when they need to move. And like the cycle is just it's just incredible. Like I can't wrap my
And
head around it sometimes.
yeah, but Maria, don't you think, if you really think about what you just said, that there must be a higher energy above all, because this is just incredible. The mathematics, everything, how it's working out. This just must be the most high being we can imagine to create a universe, a planet, an earth like that. I mean, alone our body with billions of things working every single day, it's a miracle. We are living miracles on two legs,
Yes, it's unbelievable. It's so great.
And people think there's no creator above. I mean, hello. I mean,
I don't, yeah, I just found out. I thought it was a joke before, but there's people that think that the earth is flat.
yeah, still,
Yeah,
still,
I was
still.
blown away. I'm like, oh, I thought it was a joke.
No, no,
How?
no,
With
no,
all the
no.
science that's backed up, and they're here
Yeah,
to live their experience, and
true.
till I don't know what they need to be able to prove to them that it's not. Their
Absolutely.
perception's just very different, and
Yeah, it
they
is.
have
It
the
is.
right to do that. So let
True.
it be.
Exactly. I mean, everybody has the free will and the possibility to think what she or he, or however you want to call it, wants. This is great.
Yeah.
So we have the choice, but my choice is always that there is someone above us, watching above us. And for me, on this birthday, like 4 years after really fighting against death, or looking into the faith of death, I really decided, I thought I had surrendered, but I decided to surrender even more. And on that day, I realized I can't fall deeper than in God's hands.
Beautiful.
No matter whether I stay alive or I die, but there was just peace, because I knew
Mm,
whatever happens, the one or the other, I can't fall deeper.
yeah, that's beautiful. So you've gone to that place of the void and the nothingness when you've been
Exactly.
in that merge where that you're about to. Have you stayed in that gray side for a while and let you like
I
have
have
like an
I
out of
have
body experience?
a lot, a lot. I have more than 10 near death experience in my life till now,
Wow.
so I can't count them anymore. And they were all kind of the deepest initiations, and that was the reason why it happened. It was very interesting because some years ago I was seeing for one time an anthroposophic doctor, a very beautiful and very spiritual woman, and we were looking at my whole story a little bit. Was really nice. And at a moment she looked at me and she said, you know what, if you weren't all the time with one leg on the other side, I wouldn't believe you that you're so close to Jesus Christ.
Oh.
And it has a higher sense, it is not about illness, it is about something completely different. And I had really moments where I didn't breathe anymore for a long time, so I was not only near death experience, I was already behind the wave, so I saw exactly what is happening there.
Yeah.
And so it was not sure whether I would come back, and so there was the high council, and they made me look back my entire life, everything like that. And they already downloaded what I would have to do for the next life. So it was very, 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 very interesting because I was not sure I would make it back that time.
Yeah.
But when you are there and when you have these kind of experiences, everything changes, you know. It's just,
When you come back.
yeah, everything changes. And the point is, you know, I still see so many spiritual people complaining about nothing,
Yeah.
you know. And I ask myself sometimes, why are people not more grateful for every single morning when they wake up, when they open their eyes, that they still have a day to open their eyes? I mean, we just experienced that someone left in quite a young age, you know. So it's
So
not for
young.
granted. It's not for granted. And having so many near-death experiences, starting with 7, nearly 8 years old, you know, you are more grateful than anyone else for every morning you wake up. Because very often I went to bed in the night and I didn't know, my husband didn't know, my family didn't know whether I would be there the next morning. So you look into this world with different eyes and you see the beauty, and you are more and more and more grateful.
Yeah. So fragile. Life is so fragile.
Yeah, it is. It is, you know, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And this also makes you aware about relationships, you know. We never should say goodbye to someone when he leaves for the day or whatsoever, or she, in a bad mood, because we never know whether we see that person again we love, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to be aware of these things. I mean, I don't mean that you have to take or to have people in your life which are definitely not good for you. Of course, some people you have to say goodbye and ciao. Okay, ciao con
Yes.
amore, how I say ciao con amore.
Self-respect. Yeah.
Exactly, self-love, self-boundaries, self-respect. Of course, but the
Yeah.
people you love, the people who are important for you.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there might be some discussion, there might be some maybe misunderstandings, but do everything to go into bed having everything in peace again. Do everything before you leave the house or whatsoever to be in peace again. You never know what's going to happen. And I went with so many people. I accompanied so many people who were dying, and I had to do with many, many people who were grieving afterwards. And there were so many people who were so sad because they hadn't had a nice talk in the last moment with that person.
Yeah. So that regret comes in, and we have that opportunity. And I mean, in a lot of it's just that we weren't raised that way. So it's so much easier to cave in and hold on to our resentment and our grudge and hold on to our pain, what it comes down to, because it's so much more familiar than just shake it off like little kids or animals do and say, whatever, literally, whatever. I love you. That's all that matters.
You know, and what the angels say, it's only us keeping the past with us through our thoughts. In reality, the past is long gone. We are here, it's new. And the angels say, if you truly want to, truly want to let go of your victimhood, then you are one single thought, one single heartbeat away from a new life. It's so simple. If you really want.
Yeah. At
It's
any
one
moment.
decision.
Yeah. At any moment, we can create a complete different world. And that's why programs that you put together and more people are sharing and sharing their wisdom, because sometimes it's easier to do it with the guide in a community, within a group, to hold ourselves accountable and to find strength. Like even the 2 weekends ago, we went to a waterfall and you can dive into, and there's this natural water slide that I've never seen. And there was like no way I was going to jump. And I kept seeing people going and going, and like, people that are not athletic and they're just jumping. And I was so scared. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And it was positive peer pressure. and everyone was
Yeah.
so sweet. But it was like I could tell I was letting go of my fear. I don't remember the last time that I felt so heavy and I felt all my fear on my feet and it was weighing
Wow.
me down. And I
Wow.
just let go finally after like 30 minutes. I finally did it. Of
Yeah.
going back and forth. And I can tell it's like, because first it happens mentally, then emotionally, and then your body has to accept it.
Exactly.
And then I recreated that moment. Here I am. I have to dive in for my body to say, I'm letting go. But I
And you
felt
did.
all the fear like weighing me down. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
I can imagine.
And how much it just makes you static and then just freeze.
Yeah.
And we carry all of
Exactly.
that with you. And that's why it's so good to have people, mentors, people that are going to help you out. They've already crossed that border. We're all humans. We're always evolving and going through different awakening stages. And
Exactly.
yeah, tell us a little bit more about the unique programs that you've created so people can share
Yeah.
and get an idea of what is it that you have developed from all your wisdom and all your near death experiences and how people can awaken their gifts without having to go through because we all have different paths. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. There's one, let's say it's a book, but it's a program and it exists in 5 languages, which is The Power of Your Angels in English, or La Fuerza Sanadora de los Ángeles, Il Potere di
Ah.
Guarigione degli Angeli. And of course, it exists in French and in German too. This is a 28-day program with angels, and it's like a yin and yang program. So you really work through the exercises. And the first part of the book is about really looking into the past and changing the frequency of your past. Then it's about purifying, and then it's about manifesting. And like 10,000s of people all over the world have done it with
Mm.
incredible results. And this is something you can get easily because you can just order the book. You
Order
can find
online.
it exactly. So the other programs like my Angel Life Coach training, or yeah, exactly, the Angel Life Coach training, which has 7 modules, 5 days, which is very intense. It's very intense because we work from 10 in the morning to 10 in the evening. It's just me teaching.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
they
it's
have to
really,
do it in 5 days. And
it's
you
in
do it
5, yeah,
live.
it's in 5. At the moment, it's really, it's live in person. I'm not allowed to teach that online because there's also past life regressions in it, and
Mm.
there's such deep stuff in it. So I can't teach it to people with, I mean, I have seen even in live events, not me teaching, other teachers teach. I have people seen break down in past life regressions in a way that the teacher couldn't handle it anymore. And this is
Yeah.
just irresponsible. So the things I'm doing are so deep. Till now, I teach them only in person. At the moment, I can't do that program because in Germany it's still very interesting. So I can't have people doing this with masks and not knowing whether the
Yeah.
next day, at the moment it's not possible. But I hope 22, everything will change. 22 is the number of Mary Magdalene. So
That's
I'm in good
true.
hope.
Yeah.
So, but I give, of course, online events right now. Still, the most at this point are in German and Italian because I have a huge following in Italy. But all the while I do also in English, of course, because my books, one of my 5 books is in English.
How
But
many
good news,
languages do you speak? I'm curious now.
um,
German,
I of course
Italian,
German and
English.
English, and at the moment, because I teach so much with an Italian translator, I learned Italian through listening to her. And so this is the problem, because Italian and Spanish are so close that at the
Similar.
moment it's more difficult for me to speak Spanish, but I could speak very well. I did my book premiere in Spain, in Barcelona, in Spanish, and I
Oh,
even channeled a
wow.
meditation in Spanish, but this is some years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wow.
And
It's
I
unbelievable.
understand quite some French, but my French is not really. Also, my Italian, it depends how much possibility I have to speak, That's like,
Yeah. That's beautiful. Can you share with us your spiritual awakening progress as you started seeing angels and then you started channeling different
Yeah.
frequencies like Mary Magdalene? And I kind of want to know like when Isis came in, because I know you now you work with Isis as well. Was this later on? It's all part of the Rose lineage and kind of
Yeah. It was like that when Archangel Raphael appeared and all of a sudden more and more angels came in. They gave me an assignment that every week on the weekend at 15:15, because here we say not 3:15, we say 15:15.
yeah.
This is quite a very powerful portal. I should be prepared to channel. And always every week I got the messages how I can heal further. So I had to be prepared. I had to have my chakras cleansed. And so I was sitting there prepared at 15:15 to receive the messages. This was something I did for a very long time and which made me completely healthy. And of course, I not only received messages like for myself, but also for teaching, for helping other people.
Yeah.
But then I already had a deep contact with goddess Isis because Egypt was always kind of an attraction. But then something really funny happened, Maria. I was in the plane with my husband from Los Angeles to Maui, and I only wanted to meditate. I just didn't think about Egypt at all.
Yeah.
And instead of meditating, I traveled through time and space, backwards in time, and I found myself right in front of the Sphinx.
The
The
Sphinx.
Sphinx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
With someone I
lioness.
know in this lifetime. And the Sphinx started to speak to me. And she said to me, "You have been a priestess of Isis, and now you have to remember the powerful healing tool from ancient time, but we translate it into these times." And so she downloaded this into me. And do you know who received the very first session, Maria?
No.
Dr. Wayne Dyer, who had leukemia at that time.
Wow, no way. Wow, so powerful.
Yeah, because the point was, my husband was a huge fan of his, and he got to know that he has leukemia, and he told me, of course. And so I wrote the publicist of him, which I had helped once in Germany on a book tour with her back pain. And I wrote her, I will be Mauhi. So if Wayne Dyer would like to be treated by me, I healed myself with the help of the angels. So maybe he wants to see me. But of course, I just surrendered, let go. And she told me, no, I don't even have his email address, but I will forward it to his assistant.
Yeah.
And I thought everything, I just let go. So it was Christmas time. And I said to my husband, around Christmas, he won't answer, for sure not. But I still remember sitting on the beach a few days after Christmas. And I saw Dr. Wayne Dyer like a hologram in front of me. And I said to Hubert, now let's go back into the hotel. He has spoken on the answering machine. And I go there, and here was Dr. Wayne Dyer speaking. Please, can you call me back? And so the next day on December 30th, we went to his place, and he opened the door. It was so lovely. And he looked at me and said, "Oh my God, if you look so beautiful after leukemia, I want to be treated by you."
Oh, well, you have this radiance. I mean, it goes through the camera. I never met you in person yet, but I mean, I can only imagine how like just being around you, you probably just wake up people.
and so I started with different methods, because first I had to get him congruent with healing. You wouldn't think that the teacher like Wayne Dyer is incongruent, but he was incongruent, like most of people are, because the subconscious mind is so much stronger than the conscious mind. So first I worked on another level with him to get him congruent. And then I put him in his bed, and his nurse was with us. And then I did the very first Isis angel healing session with him. And at a moment, he opened the eyes and said, because he was sure I was touching him, but I wasn't touching him, it was the angels. And he said, "You know what? I mean, I know Doreen Virtue. I had the reconnection from Eric Pearl, but I never felt the room so full of angels and light beings. And so whenever, 1 week later, he was so much better that he called me again in the hall and said, I feel great. So tonight I want to invite you for dinner in a great restaurant, you and your husband with my children, who are, some of them were, yeah. And so whenever I was on Maui, I gave him a session. Whenever we met in San Diego, in London, wherever, he got a session, and I went with him in his hotel room, and nothing else, because people always think hotel room, but, and my husband was there too. So
Yeah.
no, it was really this. And he always, when he messaged me, said, my angel of light. And whenever he had a problem, he wrote. And that's why I also have this incredible testimonial on the book, on the English version of the book, of him, because he just really was so grateful.
And it's so beautiful because people have their own gifts and what they channel. And for you, it's a lot of angels. And I love even for you, like with Isis, it's an Isis angel code.
Yeah.
So did you receive like a template of how to be able to do this? And how do you remember? Do you write it right away, or what's your secret?
There are very different kinds of movements with the hands. And I have a very good memory as a pianist, because in the times when I played, for instance, a recital, you have to know about 100 pages by heart to play a concert as a soloist. 100 pages, can you imagine? And in the really very difficult pieces, like from Rachmaninoff, sometimes in one single bar you have 47 notes. Okay, can you imagine 100 pages? So you have a different kind of memory than most of people. And so I just got the download in the plane. I didn't write it down in the plane, honestly. I did the session without having any scripture, because I knew they would give it back to me when I was standing in front of Dyer. But it was quite exciting to do it with someone like that for the very first time.
Yeah.
But we had I have so many coaches worldwide, because they came to Germany, because I only teach it in Germany, but they came from Australia, from Norwegia, from the States, from Dubai. So they came just because they felt it was so powerful. And we had especially with the Isis angel healing, that so many miracles happen. Not only when I do it for someone. I mean, my coaches too. I could tell you hours of stories. It's just very, very powerful.
And I'm glad you're saying that. Let me just my hair. For people to understand, because now the term Reiki has become very popular, and it's something that is new. It wasn't till like mid 80s. Some other channeler, and she received her own codes, and then she started spreading the message. At first, you weren't allowed to share, and now it's all over the internet what the symbols are. And just to understand, and Reiki's new. I mean, energy healing has existed from the beginning of time, because we're all energy healers. It's just depending on how clear our channel is and what we can receive. And like with you're receiving your own codes, your messages, and you're sharing this with everyone. And then I love, because you're just surrendering. Whoever resonates with you and shows up is who you're meant to work with. You're not pushing anything.
No, I never.
That's not how it works.
No, I could make lots and lots of money if I would do my programs online, because of course many people know me. I've sold much more than 150,000 books, so a lot of people know me. But it's not about that, because also the Isis angel healing is only in the 3rd stage of the training. You have to go through different stages, because there's a deep initiation also with Isis. And it's not that other people but are not at that point, but it has a sequence why then comes in. It is because a lot of people thought, I just can jump into that 3rd training. And I said, no. And even if you have done a lot, no, because this is really like one stone after the other, building up to that, and then you go further to Magdalene healing and so on. So it's really an array, and so now I can't teach it. I can't teach it since 1 year. My last training was exactly 1 year ago. It finished, but I'm in peace, because I know the time will come again, And right now I do different things, and I still can teach a lot through online, but certain things have to be in the aura of the teacher. You have to be in the aura. You can't do it through that. And I had a very, very famous conductor as a teacher. I didn't learn conducting an orchestra because I didn't want to be a conductor, or a conductress.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a pianist, but I learned from this great maestro who was also very, very high Zen Buddhist, very spiritual person. So whenever he taught, it was about spirituality always. And I was good friends with his son, and he was Maestro Sergio Celibidache. He was one of the greatest conductors of last century. He died before 2000. And what was so amazing was he never did CDs, because he said, when you're in a concert, the phenomena you experience are 96% more than on a CD. And I will never put music on a CD. And can you imagine that they sent Sony to him from the States with a suitcase with $1 million to persuade him? You know what he said? Go out of my house. You can't change my mind with money.
Yeah.
And this was the best teacher, because of course I could do it.
Yeah.
But Isis, Mary Magdalene, Jesus saying, no, you're not allowed to.
Yeah. And they know best.
Yeah, and it reminds me, because music is frequency too. Everything is sound, everything is frequency.
Yes.
And he said you can't put it on a technical thing.
Yeah.
So how could I do these kind of teachings online?
Okay, so it's done in person.
And the
But
time will come back.
yeah, but up to a certain level, you said you can, and then it gets to the point where the teacher's presence needs to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
In order for that energy exchange.
I do a lot online, and it works really great. I mean, I don't know, quite some events every month. So it works fantastic. But this training to create coaches, I do in person.
I love that. That is so important. And you honor your path. Everyone is so different. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I also really love, what for me is very important, I really want to look, not through a camera, I really want to look into the eyes of my students. And I only take a small amount, because I want to know all of my coaches. So I could have become very, very big, because a very famous promoter wanted to have me, but I would have sold my soul. And I would make millions now, probably.
Yeah, because everyone wants to know about angels.
But yeah, and they know, my first book in Italy, my second book in Italy, within 6 days, without any promotion, hit The Secret. It was on the first place. After 6 days, it had to be printed anew without any promotion. I even didn't know. So no social media, nothing. Wow. So, so someone wanted to have me, of course, after a success like that.
Yes. Yeah.
But they had some very interesting things I should have done. I said, no way. With me, no way.
Yeah.
I prefer not to be as famous and have less money, but stay true to my soul.
Yeah. Because you can't buy inner peace.
No,
you just can't.
No. And so having this teacher who threw out Sony out of his house, so $1 million, this was the best story, because now for me it's easy to say no to offers with big money, but selling my soul, no way. I had the best teacher for that.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you've been able to first channel the angels, the archangels, every now and then Seraphim when Anna comes in, Mary Magdalene,
Yeah.
Isis. Have you come across more like the Pleiadians, Arcturians, Syrians, or is that something that is
This
just not
is
part of
something I
your?
can feel, but the point is you have everyone has to stay on the path which is kind of meant for you. You know, it's not that I
Exactly.
don't have connections, but they are very personal,
Mm.
and it's nothing for me now to share as teachings because it has really to do with myself.
Mm.
And I always get, let's say it like that, I don't do anything because I want to do it. I never announce an event because I want to do it. Never in all these years. Never,
Mm.
not one single event.
Wow.
Everything is like a command from above because thy will be done, not my will.
Yeah. And they
So
set
as
the way,
long,
they set the path. So,
exactly. Can you imagine what they did? It was just again so incredible. I mean, you know Guru Ram Das, right?
yes, yes,
So
of course.
like about 1 month ago, they told me I have to do a miracle and prosperity event starting on September the 24th. I had no clue. On
Mhm.
September 24th was the birthday of Guru Ram Das, the miracle man, you know? I mean,
Wow.
it's like that all the
Yeah.
time. They give me the date, and then it's perfectly fitting with the theme they give me.
They do the marketing for you.
And so why, you know, Maria, why should I choose when they know so much better? They know
Yes.
exactly what energy I need to bring down on the planet. They know exactly what is the perfect date,
Mm.
not me, never. You
Yeah.
know, so I had to learn it in the very, very hard way when I still was in the healing process of leukemia. They sent me to Nice in France, which has the beach of the angels, the Baie des Anges. It's really called like that.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And Archangel Raphael told me, if you want to become healed, you have to go to France, to Nice, to the beach of the angels, the Baie des Anges, and you will have a healing miracle there. And you know, when you have 2 weeks, the ego comes in and you start to push the healing process.
Mhm.
So I tried because I knew in the ocean there are these incredible beings, the so-called Mermaid Angels. I could see them, these
Ooh.
mermaids with incredible wings,
Oh,
which are
beautiful.
very, very powerful, which pulled out of all of my organs the poison of the chemotherapy. I literally could
Mm.
see the gray energies going out of my body. So after
Yeah.
1 week, I could feel some of the organs were already all right. And they told me exactly which organs. And I went to the doctor and said, what did you do? What did you do? These organs are suddenly perfect. But I had still some organs left, which were not great. So my husband and I pushed to go more into the ocean. And then I got, again, fever so high that it didn't, how do you say, the meter to measure it didn't
Yeah.
get it because it was so high. So it was terrible. And then Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael told me, this is because of your ego, because you wanted to push the healing process. So
Yeah.
now we will learn you how not to use your ego again. You know what I had to do? You have no idea. I had to ask Michael for everything. I had to ask, is it the right moment to stand up? Is it the right moment to eat? Is it the right moment to cross the street? Or do I have to go 5 meters further and then cross the street? So they trained me. I was not allowed to take one single decision alone. And I am an Aries. Can you imagine?
You're an initiator.
Okay. But I had to do this for some days. I was not allowed to take one single decision. But when I came
Wow.
home, my organs were healed,
Mm.
you know?
It's so
So why?
important. Yeah.
Why should I take a decision with my will when I know they know much
Mhm. Yeah.
better? And if I pling, you know, this is a confirmation. And
That's right.
if in very rare situations I take a decision, it never has the same results than if I
Mhm.
listen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You're dealing with the higher divine energy. They
Yeah,
know the path, they open the path for you.
exactly.
And I mean, the thing with it's like really being able to listen. Like I want to say you have that gift, but you're an old soul and you've prepared this for yourself. I mean, you've gone through so much and
Yeah,
you yourself have designed it this way that if you don't listen, something physically is going to happen to you. So you're more aware. Um, it's interesting because I can relate. I was right before 8 I was running I was creating a spiritual program. I was done
yeah,
with the ebook and just in yoga class, all of a sudden I broke my foot. I was
yeah,
like, wow, okay. I thought I broke it, but it wasn't. But I had all the symptoms. The ambulance had to come and take me. Here I am in Bali by myself, and it's the left one, of course, it's the spirit side. And it just reminded me, it's like before you do, and I come from a corporate world, corporate background. So when you're doing something, you're also thinking about the marketing, the potential, everything that comes in, and the brain that everything
yeah,
that I studied for and what I've been. But it's
yeah,
always reminding me spirit first before you do anything. Spirit
exactly.
first, or yes, this is just the beginning. If I don't do it right, something's going to happen.
Yeah,
And
true.
it's not, and I don't look at it like, oh, wow, I'm being punished. Like, no, it's me reminding me I'm doing
Yeah,
this to myself.
yeah, yeah. And this is a good way, to look at it, because like
Yeah.
that, you never give someone else, you say you're guilty or so, because making others guilty uh, is not never a good thing to do, whatever happened,
Yeah.
because when we try to find a solution within ourselves, it's so much better.
Yeah. And I'm still more in that process of really listening and honing down to have better intuition.
Yeah,
Right. And, and it's like, just sit, Maria,
yeah,
just sit
exactly.
and listen. Um, but it's a lot of training. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
It
whole
is.
life training. And
Yeah,
I'm sure with programs like the one that you develop and just awakening those gifts,
yeah.
because we have a full potential. It's so beautiful.
It's true. It's true. And I truly love, we have so many people when they come in for the very first training, they are not able to be clairvoyant and these kind of things. But most of them in the third module, starting doing the Isis angel healing, they start seeing.
Yeah.
And for instance, my now assistant, she also came in. She couldn't see anything. She was just, but I felt she's a great soul to do that training. And now,
Mhm.
I mean, what she sees is just so amazing. And
Yeah.
she would never have thought in her life that she would become so clairvoyant one day.
And it's no coincidence that she's working with you.
No, no, and but to be
Yeah.
honest, I prefer now. In former times, I took people with the highest abilities. Now
Mm,
I don't look for the highest abilities, but for the best human beings,
yeah. I
because I
like that.
want them to treat the people, the participants, in the most loving way. And in former times, I had more people like who had really, let's say, great gifts, but they were not always the most nice human beings, because sometimes arrogance comes in when you have high abilities.
Yeah. Well, it's just not about some people are born with their upper chakras very, very open.
Yeah.
Then their lower chakras, there's no grounding at all.
No.
None. They're flying all the time. And the thing is, when you can't ground and you're not here, and having your chakras open, your third eye open, doesn't mean if you're not aligned, then you're literally just absorbing any type of energy, and it's not just angelic out there.
Exactly. You know
Yeah.
what? My grandmother was very, very clairvoyant, and she was it in the Second World War. So
Mm,
she really could see who would come back and whom. So it was very tough for a
yeah.
young woman. I didn't get to know her. because she was already dead when I was born. But my aunt, her daughter, the sister of my father, told me something very beautiful about clairvoyance, what my grandmother had told her. And she had told her, if you are clairvoyant, but you're not connected to higher levels of being, like the higher self. For instance, you see a knife in the aura of someone. A knife could be a butcher. A knife could be a surgeon. A knife could be a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
To know what the knife means,
Yeah.
you need to be in a higher dimension connected. And I've seen so many people saying they are clairvoyant, telling so much nonsense to people.
Yeah.
That sometimes clairvoyance is not, because everyone wants to be clairvoyant. And I'm not the one who says it's the highest ability. No, it's not. Clairvoyance is only great if you're a great human being,
Yeah.
and if you're truly connected. Otherwise, no.
Yeah. Because it speaks to you in metaphors.
Yeah, and
And
you have to know what they mean.
yes. Or else people interpret based on their life experience,
Exactly.
not on what the reality is of what it's trying to
You,
tell you.
you
Yeah, it's
know,
so tricky, so tricky.
it's so tricky. I had very often people coming into my trainings, and another so-called healer had told them, your husband is gonna die. He will be so ill. And these people are so afraid because the medium told them. And you know what? How much work we had to do with these people to get them rid of that fear.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just irresponsible. It's just, you should not say these things.
Yeah. No, but
And
there's
I
so
also,
much of that out there. There's so much. And
yeah.
I'm in Bali right now, and everyone's a healer.
Yeah. You know what? I just had another podcast, I think 10 days ago, a German podcast. And the woman knows that I don't like to call myself a healer. And she asked me why. And I think this is important. That's because you just brought it up.
I like that.
I experienced many, many, many healing miracles happening when I was there or through my tools. But I shout to my students, you are not a healer. I don't want you to tell I am a healer. Because you're just a channel.
Yes.
It's always someone else doing the healing. The soul is in accordance to be healed.
Yeah.
Because the soul plan of a person decides whether healing or miracles can happen or not. It's not you. And it's not you who create miracles.
Yeah.
It is something working through you.
Very true. I appreciate that you're sharing that, because I completely understand that concept. That even on my Instagram profile, I have myself as energy healer. I channel the energy, but that doesn't mean that it's me. I always tell people that it's you're the one that's doing the work. I didn't do anything.
You have not just healer, you have energy healer. This is for me a little bit of difference, because there's energy working through you, but if you just put healers,
now we're getting technical. Yeah.
No, but it's very important, because you have to be very important with your words and with your thoughts. Like in Kundalini yoga, we say, like, and also Jesus Christ says the same. It's very, very close. Every single thought, every single word is eternal, and it goes into your Akashic records, and it's part of your karma. So be careful.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I always like having like a buddy system, or like being around people that are very conscious, because we have blinders too, and we don't realize what's so ingrained in us.
Exactly.
And especially I've been doing so many trips in Egypt with really high conscious people. And I found some beautiful friends that we help each other out because we don't
Right.
see things that how we're utilizing words because they're so ingrained in us and we just
Yeah.
say and do and without any regard.
Exactly. And
Um,
I have a great husband, we are here and in this very special time, we are even more together, like 24/7
mm,
since a long
beautiful.
time. But it's great, and in times like that, you realize how incredible a relationship is. Because we have no problem at all being so close and so much time together. Because normally we weren't, because we were traveling, and sometimes I'm alone, we're traveling alone, he alone. So but
Yeah.
no, we're just together all the time, and it's great because you just you know you always have someone mirroring you back, showing you,
Mhm.
and I love that. I just love
Yeah.
that.
I remember you talking about how you met your husband. I think you just got out of the hospital or somewhere. You're like, I'm not doing
Yeah,
this. I just want to go
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dancing. And then you
Yeah,
met
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. It was. I just had got a bone marrow puncture where most people just lie and cry, but I was like a judo fighter. I started judo when I was 4 years old, so martial arts, because my
Wow.
father was a trainer. So for me, pain was no reason to stop me from anything. So I
Mhm.
meant tango argentino, tango dancing,
Oh, nice.
and that night, I mean, we knew each other just from seeing, but never had talked with each other. And he had a girlfriend by then, and I was always with my best girlfriend there. She was not my girlfriend, but a woman friend, my
Yeah.
soul sister. And but on that evening, my soul sister was not there, and his girlfriend was not there, and there were only quite old people. So in that night, he
Mhm.
had to come and ask me to dance. And the first thing I told him, just don't be astonished if I just may not be totally relaxed. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Here's construction area. We had good
Okay.
luck till now. So, um, and I told him, in case if I make a funny movement, it's because of pain, because I had a bone marrow puncture. He was shocked because he was working in hospital in his
Wow.
times before he studied. So he knew how tough that is. And only
Mhm.
watching it, he fainted and lay on the floor. So
Oh,
he knew how tough I was. But that's how we met.
unbelievable. Yeah. Your spirit, nothing kills your spirit. You work through that pain but it's true when you're
Yeah.
vibing so high and
It's the
the
warrior. I'm a
mind,
warrior spirit.
yeah, the mind is so powerful. So,
Yeah,
so
it is.
powerful. It's
It
incredible.
is. And
Mm,
I always saw myself as a warrior, and a warrior can do anything, no matter what pain is there, no matter what, so I like to call it like Archangel Michael calls it, not warrior of light, but warrior of love. So you never
yes.
fight against something, you always fight for something with the energy of love. But the warrior
Mm,
spirit is that you have an aura which is so strong that nearly nothing can throw you down because you are so strong.
yes. Yeah.
You know,
And
that's the
that is
Michael energy.
so important. I love how you like Raphael's very important to you. Michael's well, Raphael like is like one of your main guides. Do you
Yeah,
have one that's like your main guide? Would you say like Michael before Raphael or just play
Jesus
different roles?
Christ. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was with me from being already a little small girl.
Mm,
And at that time, my parents never had a television. And so I had never seen movies. But every year on Good Friday, I became severely ill and I had visions of the crucifixion. And
mm,
only when I was 33, I realized I have been there. I have watched it. And
mm,
that's why I was always ill. And then I, with Archangel Raziel, who is the angel who helped us to let go of past life pains, when I erased it, since that time, I don't get ill anymore on Good Friday, but I remember that I saw and watched everything. And so this is the reason why Jesus was there since I was this little girl. And,
mm.
and also the novel I have written about Mary Magdalene and Jesus.
Look at that
um,
size of that book. So
yeah,
thick.
750 pages. It's now getting translated into English, and it
Can't
looks
wait.
like yeah, and so honestly, he's my guide. He's really the very, very first, and everybody else comes after.
Yeah.
But he's my, yeah, my teacher. He's my all, my everything.
Yeah. I tell people that sometimes they want to ask me questions and I tell them, stop listening to humans.
Yeah, true.
Just listen to ascended masters.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen to angels, listen to people that channel, like find those people that channel really, really high energy.
yeah. And
That's
you have to be
that's
very careful, because a lot of channelers channel from the astral realm, but not from a pure state. There are
yeah,
really not many out there who are
no,
really pure channels, but you have to live a very pure life
yeah,
on all levels to be a truly pure channel. This is really important.
yeah. That's why it's really, really hard to find. But that's the beauty about also, well, beauty and not with the internet is going to get you confused,
Yeah,
but then you can also find them. But
yeah.
it also depends. You're going to rest in it. You're going to find because like energy attracts
Yeah,
like
of
energy.
course, and everything in
Yeah.
divine time. But what I
Mhm.
always really admit, if you're looking for someone who is a channel or something like that, you have to ask yourself before you go to that person, is that a happy person?
Yeah.
Is this a peaceful person? Is this a
Mhm.
loving person?
Yeah.
And if you have to say no with one of these attributes, you don't go. Because believe me, in my 4 years of trying to survive leukemia and chemotherapy, I went from healer to healer, and nearly no one was really good. Nearly no one. A few exceptions, but
Yeah.
most of them were charlatans, to be honest.
But yeah, that's the worst when they're doing it purposely and they
And not
know
even
enough.
knowing,
Oh,
or maybe, yeah, but because if you're in such a situation, someone tells you, yeah, you should go there. So of course you try.
you're desperate.
And
Yeah.
not even that, but of course my parents were desperate, so they went. I had very often a bad feeling, didn't want to go, but my
Mm.
parents took me there. So through that experience of 4 years going from one to another, I have a lot of experience with that. Okay, you can believe
Yeah.
me. And I'm happy for that experience. I'm not angry about it, because I learned to discern and to trust my intuition. And mostly my intuition had warned me before. It was just my parents or friends who thought I should go there. So if I
Yeah.
had trusted myself, I would have done the right decision. But I had to go through that to know how good my intuition is.
Yeah. No, it's so, so important. And then the thing is, what happened to me the latest was someone told me about this astrologer, and I have two really, really, really good ones already. This happened a while
Yeah.
back, and she was saying stuff that what you call irresponsible, just
Mm.
completely irresponsible. Thank God I have like my knowledge and I'm much more center now, but still, like all that, what she's creating is conditioning. All
Yeah.
right. She's all this
Yeah.
conditioning of
Yeah.
how things are going to be. And I'm like, well, everything's dynamic. She's like, no, not in astrology. She's like, wow, this person, I'm glad. I mean, I was able to clear it. I'm fine. But
Yeah.
I know there's other people that go there and they're just waiting for the time so
Yeah.
then it does become a condition. So
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
playing fortune
Yeah.
tellers because you're
Yeah.
allowing them to do so.
Yeah.
You're giving them all your
Exactly.
power,
Exactly.
but you are creating this because you're allowing it
Exactly.
to happen.
And the point is, you know, the future is not already written,
Mm-mm.
because you and all the people who are part of your future have a free will. And it depends whether these people are listening to their higher selves
Mm.
or to their ego selves.
Yeah.
And so you can't, beside exceptions, foretell things.
Yeah. It's dynamic. It's so
It is.
dynamic.
It is. It
Yeah.
definitely.
Just
Yeah,
remember, like you said before, at any given moment, we can completely change our life, our whole reality.
exactly.
It's a matter of
Exactly.
just letting go, surrendering,
Exactly.
putting away all that fear and that pain. but it goes
Yeah,
with a lot of work, to get there. And that's why
that's true.
the
That's
programs
true.
are there, the teachings are there, the guidance are there, and they'll have angels
Yeah.
like you who are channeling the highest frequencies. So that's the most important thing. Thank you so much for being here. I know we've gone over an hour, and I just want to share with people that how I met you was a Kundalini yoga class, and towards the end, you just did this quick prayer. I think it was only 5 minutes, and I felt all your angelic connection like all over me. I was like, wow, this, I don't know who she is. I don't know who's talking, but I researched it right away because I just felt my heart expand and I felt like I had a healing just from your quick 5 minute meditation prayer that you did. If you would honor us with a quick prayer,
Yeah,
I'd be
I would
so
love
gifted.
to.
Mm.
I love to still feel this incredible ultraviolet pyramid of Archangel Michael around you. And know you are completely safe wherever you are, wherever you go. And in this pyramid appears one of the most beautiful beings. And this is Mother Mary. There's her incredible love and her deep, deep compassion. And she tells you with her sweet, graceful voice, beloved child, beloved daughter, beloved son, no matter from where you are, I am your celestial mother, loving you like only a mother is able to love her beloved child. Remember, beloved soul, you're never, never, ever alone. And let me enfold you right now with my loving embrace and my hug of a mother, nurturing you on all levels, so you feel energized in the most beautiful, most sweet, most heavenly way. And if you wish so, I also enfold you in my aquamarine colored coat, the coat which gives you stillness, peace, wisdom, and deep protection. I love you. I love you beyond measure, my divine child. And I ask you to breathe in deeply, to anchor my love within you, and to always remember you are never alone, and you're one with all that is, and love is the answer. And just breathe in deeply 3 times to anchor these words of Mother Mary, to anchor her energy, her love, and her infinite compassion for you. And always remember who you truly are, a divine child bringing heaven on earth. Amen. Sat Nam.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Isabel. That was so beautiful. Many blessings to you. More angelic light and more awakenings for you. Thank you so much. I'm truly honored that you were guided to provide us with your wisdom today. I
Thank you
love
so much.
you.
Merci for inviting me. I love you too. It was so wonderful to be with you. Thank you so much and
Thank
see you soon.
Yes, we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.